Hi guys, welcome to another episode of New Low Score. My name is Jeanette, and this is a tag video, which is weird because my face is in it. I've never done a video with my face in it, but yep, here I am. Yay! I'm gonna start this by saying I got my hair cut today. And they were like, oh, with this haircut, it looks really nice curled. And I was like, that's super. And then they curled my hair. My hair doesn't look like this normally. I'm very floofy today. I will share the floof with you. Floof, floof, floof. I look so silly. I don't do this normally. It's a lie. I swear I wasn't trying to look pretty for a video. I just wanted to look clean. And then they curled it, and I was like, well, this is gonna be a thing, so it's a thing. So, curly hair, Jeanette. So anyway, the video. This is the gamer tag video because the lovely and enchanting Arcade Hime decided that I should be one of the people tagged to do this, so we're going to do this. Pretty much the gamer tag is you get a bunch of questions about games and you answer them, so I'm going to answer them and hopefully you will be charmed and interested. Question number 1. What is your all-time favorite video game? So, my all-time hands-down favorite video game that I think is definitely like burned the most impression onto my brain is A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or the SNES. Paired with Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds for the 3DS. I feel like they should be bundled together because they are very similar in experience, but definitely Link to the Past. It was one of my very first video games. It's one of the few video games that I can go through completely by memory. Like, I could probably write a walkthrough to Link to the Past at this point in my life. I've played it so many times and beaten it so many times. And there's something just so beautiful and enchanting about the game, and it's just perfect. It is, in my opinion, the perfect 2D Zelda game, and it is just one of the best games I've ever had the experience of playing. Question number 2. What is your current favorite game? So, my current favorite game is Undertale. I feel like at this point I will probably get shot for saying that. I feel like Undertale has kind of run its course as meme material on the internet, but I just love Undertale. It's just so enchanting and charming, and the characters are just so delightful, and it's just so good. I just love Undertale. Undertale's so good. I just rub my face all over it. I love Undertale. Question number 3. What is your favorite video game genre? Can I say walking simulator? I don't know if that's a thing. Probably more seriously, simulation games tend to be one of my favorite genres. It's the ones that I can dump the most time into, and the more specific niche category of that is the turn-based strategy / dating sim games, which there tend to be actually a weird amount of, including Conception 2 for the 3DS and the Vita, Fire Emblem, all of it, and Massive Chalice, which is a game on Steam, which everyone should play. I love Massive Chalice, it's so good. But yeah, so simulation games or games where I can make people date each other and have babies. I love them. They're so good. So good. Question number 4. How long have you been playing video games? Well, I've been playing video games since I was like 3 or 4. I grew up with a Super Nintendo in my house, and I've been watching video games much longer than I've been playing them, so it really isn't any surprise at all that I like to watch Let's Players, because my parents used to be the king and queen of the Super Nintendo, and somewhere around that age, I also would get passed the controller when somebody died, because that's how it worked in my house. You play until you die, you pass the controller to the left, they play until they die, you pass again. So I've been playing since I had the motor functions to hold the controller and press A and B. Question number 5. What's the first video game you ever played? Now, related to the last question, this one's kind of hard to remember because there were always, like, so many games in my early childhood. Of the games I remember the most from when I was little, it was probably one of three things. It was probably either Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, one of the games on the Super Mario All-Star cartridge, so any of the three original Super Mario Brothers games, or Yoshi's Island, for the Super Nintendo. Those were the three games that my parents played a lot, and so odds are they're the games I played a lot as a kid, so one of those three were probably my first game. Question number 6. What game have you clocked the most hours into? Hands down, the Sims franchise. Holy shit. I have burned so many hours of my life into the Sims, of all 4 games and every expansion. The Sims is just that game that can take my money and take my life because, I love the Sims franchise. The Sims franchise is so good. I love the Sims. According to Steam, though, the game that I have the most hours in on Steam is Team Fortress 2 with like 70 hours or something like that. And the most hours I've probably ever put into a handheld game is Pokemon Leaf Green for the Game Boy Advance, which I think I put over 100 hours into just that one cartridge. I beat the shit out of that game. Question number 7. What was your longest gaming session? Now this one I don't really know the exact answer to. It probably was The Sims at some point in time. I could just lose myself in that game. But the most distinct instance I can remember of playing a game for a really long period of time was Civilization 5. And this is kind of a downer story, I'm sorry. My grandfather used to live with me for a really big chunk of my life, and one day, while my parents were out of town, he had a very bad fall that sent him to the hospital, and ultimately he died due to complications of that fall. And so that night he was in the hospital, and I went back home, and I was home by myself, and I was of course feeling guilty and sad and lots of bad, unhappy emotions. And so, to fill the quiet void of my house, I sat in my living room and I played Civilization 5 for about 10 hours straight. Like, I put all bodily functions on hold, and I just conquered the world, like, as a way to sort of ignore my feelings. And that's probably the most distinct long binge of gaming I can remember in recent history. And that's such a depressing story. Imagine it, way to be a bummer and bring everyone down. Question number 8. Who is your favorite game developer? I don't really follow developers, so I guess my only answer for this is the only developer I really do kind of follow. I just realized I've been gesticulating with my hands and it hasn't been on camera. Game developer, right. The only game developer that I really... Sorry, game developer. The only game developer that I really follow is The Chinese Room. The Chinese Room is the maker of Dear Esther and Amnesia Machine for Pigs, and most recently, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. Dear Esther is one of my favorite video games of all time, and it's super great. If you haven't played it, you can usually find it on Steam, really hella cheap on sale. Play Dear Esther, play it 3 times, and then you can have an opinion on it, is my opinion on it. But The Chinese Room, I love The Chinese Room. Lots of people hated A Machine for Pigs. I loved A Machine for Pigs because it was more like Dear Esther as opposed to Amnesia. I don't really like Amnesia, so... Question number 9. There we go. I can count. Question number 9. Who is your favorite hero character from a game? This was really hard for me, but in all honesty, I think my favorite hero character from a video game is Max from Scribblenauts. Scribblenauts is a game series for the DS and 3DS, and I think now PC, and people will probably argue that Scribblenauts doesn't have a story, but that doesn't mean that Max isn't my favorite. There's just something about a character who uses sheer dumb creativity to solve problems that I just really love and I find really enchanting. So, probably Max. Also, he has a sweet rooster hat. rooster hat. Bloop, bloop. Question number 10. This is the last one I'll be able to do with this. It's a shame I haven't been counting on my fingers this whole time. Question 10. Who is your favorite villain from a video game? My favorite villain, well, I have two. One is my old classic and one's my new bae. So my old classic would be Lavos from Chrono Trigger, originally for the Super Nintendo, later re-released for the DS. Something that's great about Lavos is that he is like the giant end of the world destruction, and you know he's the bad guy, like, from the beginning. But there's something to me that's just so funny about this big end of the world destructive force that's just napping through the whole course of the game. He's just like asleep. And he just don't even care. He's just chilling around for a couple thousand years. And I love Lavos, and I love his presentation in the game. I love the fact that you can sort of choose what timeline you kill him in, and it gets you a different ending. There's something about a big universal bad in a game about time travel, and you can actually go back and kill him in the past, and like, the game's just like, and you're done! You don't have to do the rest of the game! I love Lavos. Lavos is just so fun, and he's like a big porcupine. He's big and spiky. But my new love, one of my new favorite villains, is Mary from Ib, or Ib, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Mary was just such a fascinating villain to me, because there's something about her that is so innocent, and she just wants a friend. And if you haven't played Ib or watched someone play Ib, depending on how you pronounce it, Ib, my voice. If you haven't played it or watched someone play it, I can't recommend it enough. It is probably one of the best RPG Maker games in existence, if not one of the most influential. Mary is a character that, like, burrowed into my heart, and I really just honestly felt for this character. She just wanted to be loved. She just wants a friend. Question number 11. I made it work. Question number 11. Who is your most hated character from a video game? This is hard. This question's hard. It made me realize how much I don't remember about all the video games I've ever played, and how many games I just completely forgot I've ever played. So I made like a short list of characters that I really dislike, but I don't know if any of them take the rank as most hated, because I couldn't think of my most hated. If any of you on my channel saw me watch Stars of Cassidy, a niece from Stars of Cassidy, forget that bitch. So tired of her by the end of that game. Ugh. I'm glad she got turned into a notebook or whatever the hell happened to her. I don't remember. That game was like a fever dream. I don't know if any of you ever played this gem for the Game Boy Advance. I don't... Can you read that? Yeah. This baby is The Sims busting out for the Game Boy Advance. The goddamn Velocirooster. There's an enemy in this game that is like a genetically enhanced rooster. Fuck that guy. I hate the Velocirooster. He was the worst. I don't want to break this cartridge. I love this game. Velocirooster. Hate him. He's shit. The Dot Hack series, if anyone has played Dot Hack for the Game Boy, not the Game Boy Advance, for the PlayStation 2, you know, that one where you had to buy all 4 separate games to get the whole game? Skeeth, the bad guy from that game, he can suck a big one, because I do not care. Get out of here, Skeeth. Just get out of here. Don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. It took me like 10 years to finally beat you. Bitch-ass bitch. And, for anyone here who likes the game Gone Home, you might want to skip this next part. But the sister from Gone Home, whose name I can't care to remember, like the one who you're hearing the narration of, I hate her. I hate her so much, and I'll expand on that later. I hate her so much. I hate her. Now for a less aggressive question. I can't make a 2. 12. Number 12. What consoles do you own? That's the question, right? What gaming systems do you own? There we go. Well, I own a PC. It's over here. I'm not gonna pick it up. But it's beautiful and it's red. I own a PC, which is a HP Pavilion something, big custom-made thing that I dumped a lot of cash into. I have my PC, I have a PlayStation 2, I have a Wii, I have a Wii U, and I have an Xbox One. I never touched the Xbox One because it's technically my father's, and we only own one game. We own Grand Theft Auto 5. That's the only thing we have on our PlayStation, Xbox. And that's it. That's all the consoles. That's it. And sadly enough, that's not much bigger than my whole console history. Question number 13. Question number 13. What is your first gaming system? My first gaming system was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It was my first and only gaming system for a long time until I got a Game Boy Color, which I still have somewhere in my abyss. In this white pit that I live in. Blah. And the PlayStation 1. Or the PlayStation original. Original PlayStation. The PlayStation. Why is that so hard to say? Super Nintendo is the answer. Super Nintendo. Question number 14. What is your favorite video game system of all time? I'm going to discount the PC because the PC has definitely become my favorite. But I'll rephrase this as what is my favorite console of all time? Because the PC is its own majestic creature. I'm petting my PC right now. You can't see it, but it's very loving. It's tender. It's touching. It's really touching. My favorite gaming system console would have to either be the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation 2. And also the question ends with, what's your favorite gaming system and why? The Super Nintendo, probably because I have the most memories with the Super Nintendo. It just reminds me a lot of my childhood and my family and just silly things like that. And the PlayStation 2 because the PlayStation 2 was the console that we had for the longest time. We had a PlayStation 2 pretty exclusively for like 7 years. And so I put a lot of hours into my PlayStation 2, and so it is one of my favorite gaming systems with one of my favorite libraries of games. So, Super Nintendo and PlayStation 2. They're tired, they get to kiss. It's sweet. Question number 15. Do you prefer to play girl or guy characters? Probably girl characters, especially in like RPGs where you get, if it's a game where you have to choose between a female or a male as like your avatar, I would say female. Like, female character. If it's like just, do you prefer games with male or female protagonists, like if it's a static protagonist, it doesn't matter to me unless they're well written. I'd like well written characters. They can be snails. They can be genderless amoeba. If it's well written, I'll like them. Question number 16. I have to read this one. Do you follow walkthroughs or do you play through on your own? Oh, I'm a cheater. I use walkthroughs. My rule of thumb is I want to have fun while playing a game, and so if I can't figure out how to do it on my own, I'll look up a walkthrough. I'm not above walkthroughs. I just spit everywhere. Question number 17. Have you ever been to a gaming convention? I have been. Last year I went to PAX East in Boston, and this year I'm going to PAX East in Boston. So if you want to see me in April, you could go to Boston. I'll be at PAX. I may or may not be cosplaying. Whee! Yay, PAX! Question number 18. What game are you most excited for to come out in the future? Moon Hunters. Moon Hunters was a game that I saw at last year's PAX that is coming out this, I think, Q1 of this upcoming year on Steam. And Moon Hunters looks so cool. If you haven't heard of it, go onto Steam, type in Moon Hunters, and Moon Hunters, look at it. It's like a co-op game where you essentially write the mythology of a civilization together and you kill things. This is my kill things motion. Kill things. Moon Hunters looks awesome. Games I'm excited for, but they're already released, so they don't really qualify the question, is Everyone's Gone to the Rapture by the Chinese Room, which is a PS4 exclusive right now, and I don't own a PlayStation 4. But I would definitely, possibly threaten someone with bodily harm if they had it so I could play it. Question number 19. What is your best memory of a video game? This isn't really a specific memory, this is just sort of a generalized memory, which is my childhood playing the Super Nintendo with my family. There was something so, I don't know, weirdly nice and bringing together of my whole family sitting around the TV in the living room, watching my dad play Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, or my mom play Yoshi's Island, or my brother and I playing Kirby Dream Course. There's just something about the Super Nintendo that is really magical to me, and that I just have this whole big blanket memory of my childhood with the Super Nintendo with my family, and it's just, that's probably my best video gaming memory, is growing up with a family who played video games together. Question number 20. What is your worst video game memory? I find this a lot harder of a question to answer, because I don't really have a lot of negative memories with video games, but I do have two things. Two things for this one. There's a video game that I played very recently that it wasn't a bad game per se, but it sort of ruined my day. I played The Beginner's Guide by the guy who made the Stanley Parable. If you haven't played that game yet, don't play it at the beginning of your day, or if you want to have any joy in your life for the rest of the day, because it will ruin it. You will be sad. You will be very sad. You won't even be sad, you'll just be like, hollow. And so that's The Beginner's Guide, and that kind of ruined my evening when I played that, but wanna know what's probably one of my worst experiences with video games? Playing Gone Home. I have a very strong and aggressive dislike for Gone Home, and if you are a person who likes Gone Home and thinks it deserved all the critical acclaim that it got, fight me. Fight me. I could make a whole video just talking about why everything you think is great about Gone Home is actually shit. Because Gone Home is not a good game, it's not an original game, it's not any game that deserved all the hype it got. I have a lot of feelings about Gone Home. I was very disappointed in it. Can you not see the emotion on my face right now? I'm really intense about this. I'm not kidding. Fight me on Gone Home, because it's not a good game. Not good. Not good. Not in this house. Get out of this home. And finally, question 21. Which video game character do you see yourself as, or if you had to be represented by a video game character, who would it be? Okay, so I wrote down 2 joke answers to this one, which was the protagonist from Paperboy 2 for the Super Nintendo, or Putt-Putt from the Putt-Putt Goes to the Parade series. But, in all honesty, I have a very hard time finding representation for myself in video games, or being able to project myself, or like identifying myself with characters really strongly. It's just not something I've ever really done. If anybody, I guess maybe Max from the Scribblenauts series, because he's like, you know, sort of a projectable protagonist, you can sort of pretend that he's you. But yeah, I don't really have any sort of fun answer for this one. I do think Putt-Putt from Putt-Putt Goes to the Parade is still a valid one though, because I don't know, I think Putt-Putt and I share a lot of similarities, if I say so myself. We're both adorable, and we both want balloons, and we want to drive in a parade. That was the gamer tag. Okay, I'm very wordy. I apologize immensely. But you got to see me and my fluffy hair. Whee, fluff, 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 fluff. Thank you guys so much for watching this silly nonsense, and if you don't already know who Arcade Hime is, the wonderful person who tagged me to do this, you should go see them. There will be a link there. Click there. I have to look at my computer. Click there. And that will bring you to her page, and you should look at her. And now it is time for me to tag other people, because I'm a horrible person who will make other people suffer. So I'm going to tag 3 people. I'm going to tag Acetal Kevin, I'm going to tag Jimbo Mantis, and I'm going to tag the people from Broken Base. Woo, those are the 3. and you guys should do it. If not, I won't be mad at you, and you'll probably just be like, Jeanette, no, why? And I'll be like, yeah, I get it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching my silly antics and my dumb face. I appreciate it a lot. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, you should go to my channel, and there's a whole array of beautiful things that you can click and watch. Games, and unboxing things if you're into that, but mostly games. And there's a nice subscribe button that you can click if you want to see more of this face. Probably just hearing more of this voice. Maybe not so much the face, but this voice. Ooh, you know, it's so good. It is luxurious. It is fancy. You want to hear it in your eardrums through your headphones. This accent, I don't know where it came from. But again, for like the third time I'm saying it, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next time, bye-bye! There's a mirror, so it ruins the illusion. Thanks for watching this episode of New Low Score. To see the last video, click here. Or to go to my channel and see my other series, click here. Jesus, my homeboy, yeah! High five. This is gonna be a disaster.